Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today here I am with a lot of books, and I know you are probably gonna think, what am I doing here with books? But of course you read the caption, the description that I said. The books I read back in 2025. So let's start. So there are a few books that I read in 2025. I think the book I started reading from was The Palace of Illusion. It's by Chitra Banerjee, and I think this book was my start for reading the other books. And this book is about Mahabharat, how Draupadi and how she viewed life, how she went on from being a girl. She actually, Draupadi and her brother was born from fire. So it's everything, it's written like how she was born, how she was married to 5 husbands, and then how she dealt with it, how they lived. So I think it's a great start if you want to start reading books. Like, this was my start, so there's that. The second book I read was By Yourself, The Damn Flowers by Tam Kaur. She's also a content creator on YouTube, and I really liked the book. So the book is really about, you don't have to be like, you don't have to depend on other people. Why would you expect other people to get you flowers? It could be, your partner you're expecting from. Oh, so it's Valentine's Day, I need flowers, I need bouquets. But what about getting a flower or a bouquet for yourself first? Why don't you start valuing yourself first? Then you expect that from others. So this book is great. It has given activities, for example. So you need to check off this list in this book, and you really need to prioritize yourself first, and then you can expect from others to from them to prioritize you first. That's what I am trying to say. So this was the second book that I read. I have not I'm not a very kind of person that reads, but the last year something, I don't know what has changed and why and how it changed, but something, this book changed for me, and this book made me read more books. The second was this. Actually, I think I'm wrong. This was not the first book. I'm so sorry. The first book was this, The Laws of the Human Nature. This book's this book like literally tells you how human nature works, how a human works, how the mind works, how the mentality of other people works, how that impacts on a single human being. So it's more about that. So when I started reading books, I was more interested in psychology and how the human brain works. So for me, it was that. And it gives you some terms that your mind keeps going back to. One of them, I think that book was. Um, Actually, I also went for this, but I did not finish it. I don't know. It wasn't binge for me. But I heard a lot about this book. I couldn't finish it. I started it, couldn't finish it. So there are a few books that I started but I couldn't finish. That will be like another section of books. But this book I finished. This is just too good. So there are 5 laws. The laws that will transfer you, calm you, um, will change the way you see life, the way you see people. You'll understand more where people are coming from, what are their perspective, and how are they performing. So when I read these kind of books, it's more like you understand the other person where he's coming from, and then like you're like, he or she might have some problem, and then you're like the calm one and you like understand what's going on. So this is a great way to start if you're interested in psychology. Okay. And then I think after I read that, then I got this book, but this I still have to read. So there are going to be two piles, the one that I read in 2025 and the one that I started but did not finish because I don't know, I didn't get binged to them. So this I'm going to keep on the left, and the ones that I read I'm going to keep on the right. So the other book that I started but did not finish was from Alif Shafak, The 40 Rules of Love. I did not read it fully. I still have to read it. We'll keep it on the right side. The other book was Murakami. I started this. This is about a guy who was studying in a college, and where she met a girl, and he fell in love, and then there's 30 years later he's flying on a plane and he sees the same kind of view from somewhere, and he remembers all that things. He remembers her face, her fragrance, that takes a fragrance that took him back to those days, and he remembers his college days. He remembers everything in this book. So it's like when he went back to his memory 30 years back. So this is Murakami by Norrin Wood. And oh, the other psychology book that I have is by Joseph. Don't believe everything you think, and what you're thinking is the beginning of no, what you're thinking is the beginning and the end of suffering. It's true, it's very true. I think when I was reading this book, this was too good. So the book tells you about everything you're thinking is not true. Everything that comes into your mind is not true. It's so this I'm gonna keep on the right side because I did it. So don't believe everything you think is like, so for example, I am thinking about something right now which might happen in the future, which might, but it's not true, it haven't happened yet, and it might not happen, but that's my thinking, and I am suffering from that thinking and panicking. Oh my god, like what am I gonna do if that happens? But I think it tells that you should wait until that happens. It's your brain that keeps you safe and keeps taking you back and thinks that, oh, keeps you back from doing something more. Like, so if I have a goal and I haven't done that before, like it's new to me, so my mind will keep taking me back to that thing. Oh, that's not safe for you, because that's how mind works, and that also I learned from these books. Oh. So the other book that I read was Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. This book is very good. So this book tells us about women, how women are treated, how women are suffering, and how they deal with it. So it's not like it's not like paragraphs, but it's like poems. I'm gonna read one of them over here right now so that you get an idea what kind of book it is. So I'm gonna read you this one. The therapist places the doll in front of you. It is the size of girls your uncles like touching. Point to where his hands were. You point to the spot. Like, you get an idea where this is going, right? So there is one saying that by Rupi Kaur. She says that you were so afraid of my voice, I decided to be afraid of it too. I think it's very deep if you understand these things. And she has written like a million of poems over here. I think it's good. I have read it. I read it in a day because it was just small paragraphs, but I keep going back and reading this. The other book I read was before the coffee get cold. So this is about a cafe at a place in Tokyo. So there is a small cafe. It's in the, what do we say? It's in the basement. The cafe is in the basement, and it's a very small cafe. And these are the summer days when the book was written. Of course, it's a fiction. It's not true. So the book is about where a girl meets a boy, and she thought that he might be the one, but he ends up breaking her heart. And then she went back. She heard of this cafe, but she didn't know if it was true or not. So before the coffee get cold means like, so like you see these chairs, right? So imagine a ghost sitting on this chair. So a ghost is sitting on a chair and drinking tea, but that ghost is only, no, actually that ghost is visible to everyone. But the thing is that the ghost does not gets up from his chair, but gets up once in a day to go to the washroom. And you have to be very attentive. It could be in the middle of the night, it could be in the mornings, in the afternoon, in the evening, you don't know about that. And when the ghost goes, you can sit in this chair and you can go back in the past, and like you can kind of imagine if how the things were different. And that's what the girl did. But the ghost sitting in the chair, so you have to actually you have to come back from the past before your coffee gets cold. And once the coffee gets cold, you can never come back from the past, and you will become like the other ghost. So this was like, when I started it, I did not read it that much, but then this slowly I started reading it more and more, and it was good. So this I read. Actually, this I read. This also I read. Um, this I read, and then the other, my one of the most favorite books that I've read till day, and I think I'll again go back reading to that book, will be The Courage to Be Disliked. I know we can think of 100 things when we hear the, you know, title The Courage to Be Disliked. It's not like you have to have the courage to be disliked, where it kind of does. But so this book tells us about a few human psychology terms. I think one of them, I actually remember two of them, etiology and terminology, something kind of that. So etiology is something that takes our mind back to the past, and when we go back to the past, our mind reacts with that past things, but in the future. So something bad happened to me in the past, somebody did bad to me in the past, and the same person is sitting right now in front of me, but what they did in the past, I'm gonna react like that in the future, in the present. So this book tells us that you cannot meet people's expectations. You, if you try to meet their expectations, you're gonna be disappointed in yourself, you're gonna be disappointed in them. And this book is by Shiro Kishimi and Fumite Koga. So here's a narrator. He was, I think, very famous at his time. He was a philosopher, and there was a student of his that kept went back and forth to him, and it's like the conversation. They're like having a conversation in this book, and that's how the book is written. The like the total conversation is written in this book, and that's like, okay, so I can give an example of what's going on in the book. So there's a friend of the philosopher student. So the friend has anxiety and all of that stuff. But the philosopher tells him the psychology behind the mind. I think it's very, you should read this book. So one of my favorites is this, The Courage to Be Disliked. And the other book that I have is The Women Who Run with the Wolves. I think I started this too. It's about the women, how women are powerful and all. And I read half of it and I still have to read the other part. So I think these three books that I still have to read, I have started them but I've not finished them. And these these are the books that I read in 2025, and those were also the ones but I didn't finish them. And now there are other books that I've started in 2026, but I think if you guys want to know what I'm reading in 2026, like what I read, I didn't read anything in Jan. I was very busy in January. I was like, we had weddings and all in the family, so I didn't read anything in January. And but I have started two books in Feb. And if you want to know what I'm reading right now, let me know and I'll show that on my Instagram. You guys can go and check on the Noor Vibe. Thank you for watching my video, and you guys can suggest me any books in the comments.